we have im en kemach en Torah. In so many words, this is applying to the fact that without sustenance, without money, a person is not going to be able to have full focus to study Torah. He has to eat. We're not getting man from Shamayim at this generation. People need to eat. The rabbi needs to eat. The Talmid Chacham needs to eat. Without him eating, he won't be able to learn Torah. He won't be able to teach Torah. On the other hand, if there's no Torah, there's no money. So now many people say, listen, I can't become a Talmid Chacham and I can't learn Torah because I got to work. I got to work. I don't have time to learn Torah. Why you don't have time to learn Torah? I work. It says it in Kemach en Torah. If there's no money, there's no Torah. Once I get to be a millionaire, then I'll learn Torah. The problem is he's not reading the second part. He says if there's no Torah, there's no Kemach. Meaning you're confusing. When you use the excuse of money as the reason of why you're not learning Torah, you, my friend, are confusing the cause and effect. You think that you're making money because of you. Because you're a nice guy. Because you're smart. Because you're talented. You forgot, Hashem said to the Prophet, Liya kesef v'liya za'av. Ne'um Hashem tzevaot. Hashem says, mine is the money, mine is the gold. It's all mine. Nothing is yours. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now, when a person is not learning Torah simply because he says, I'm working, Hashem says, you're confused. You're not working, you're confused. What are you confused? You're thinking that you're the one that's making the money. If you're thinking that you're the one that's making the money, then obviously you're going to make an excuse for the rest of your life. And eventually you're going to come up with an excuse why you need to work on Shabbat. And eventually you're going to come up with another excuse of why you need to cheat on your wife. And eventually you're going to come up with another excuse of why you need to take drugs. And eventually you're going to have to come up with another excuse of why you steal. You're going to keep making excuses forever. So a person needs to understand that if they're using the tools that Hashem Yitbarach gave them, the first tool is Yirat Shamayim. Yirat Shamayim tells you that you need to understand, before you do anything, ask yourself this. What does God think about this? What does God think about this action I'm about to take? What does God think about me waking up at 11 o'clock in the morning every day? What does God think about me going to clubs? What does God think about me overcharging my customers? What does God think about me being stingy? What does God think about me making $5,000 a month, but I only give $50 tzedakah? What does God think about that? What does he think? So I'll tell you what he thinks. When a person understands this Mishnah, he understands that everything in the world has a purpose. Everything. The only reason why Hashem gives you money is for you to fulfill mitzvot. Only reason. He cares less about your big house. You can't take it to Olam Haba anyway. He cares less about your car. You can't take it anywhere anyway. You're probably not going to want to because you want a new one. Especially if it's fancy. You want a fancy one, excellent. He cares less about your IRA account and the stocks that you own. He cares less about the companies you own and the ventures you took. He cares less about all those things. The only reason why he's giving you money is simply so you can fulfill mitzvot. Now, when a person takes the money that Hashem gave him, he doesn't do it. He takes the $5,000 a month that he gets, the $10,000 a month that he gets, the $20,000 a month that he gets, and he uses it to get a car, get a house, eat out a few times a week, do his thing, and when it comes to tzedakah, he only has $20. He only has $50. He never has the maaser that he owes Hashem. He never has the 10% that he owes Hashem. In reality, you're stealing from God. It's not yours to take. It's not your money. You using 100% of your money, you're stealing. But you're not stealing from the Chabad house. You're not stealing from the school. You're not stealing from the company. You're stealing from God. Because God gave you the money so you can fulfill mitzvot, not so you could buy another car. So, a person needs to understand. Simply said, each person is given money to do mitzvot. It's given money to do mitzvot. If you're not doing mitzvot with your money, you have a very serious problem in Shamayim. Why? Because now, the Torah is depending on that money. There's an avrech in the world depending on that $500 a month. There's a CD that's depending on the dollar. There's a movie that's supposed to help people do tshuva that's depending on the money. There's a kollel depending on the money. Now, of course, Hashem is going to give it to him in a different place. But this was your zchut to take. This was your merit to take. This belonged to you. This chidush belonged to you. When you come up to Shamayim, they're going to tell you, why didn't you do it? Look how many people didn't do tshuva because of you. Look at the guy, he ended up leaving kollel because of you. He got stressed out, he had to go to work because you didn't send the money in. I had a guy one time say, yeah, you know what, I talked to one of my lectures about giving to a kollel. It's like, yeah, you know what, I'll do it. I'll donate to the kollel. I said, okay, great. You know, none of the money goes to me. It goes to the kollel. No problem. Send it to them. He goes, I'm only trusting you. I'm like, you don't have to trust me. Go call the kollel. You don't have to trust me. You don't have to trust anything. You're not giving me any money. I'm not getting any benefit out of it. Anyway, the guy says, okay, I'll give the money. He gives him $500. He says he's supposed to give like $500 a month. And Baruch HaShem, he's very, very wealthy. And I said, oh, Baruch HaShem, somebody, the kollel is going to benefit, some avrech is going to benefit, there's going to be more Torah in the world, great. After a few months, maybe like 6 months or so, I talked to one of the rabbis from that. I'm like, oh, so is so-and-so still giving? He's good, he increased it. He goes, no, he stopped after 2 months. It caused a lot of balagan for us. He gave for the first 2 months, he committed to give for, whatever, a year, but he stopped giving after 2 months. Why did he stop? We don't know. He stopped. Now, I know he didn't stop because of money. Because he's building a $3 million house right now. So $500 is not going to change anything. This is a problem. This is a very, very serious problem. When people commit to a mitzvah, and that mitzvah happens to be Torah, and you back out, you create a very serious problem for yourself. So, because the Torah is telling you right over here, in order for the Torah to continue growing, we need supporters. People are convinced that I still have $20 million from Wall Street somehow. Every time I tell my story, at the end of the story, we lost everything. But people are still convinced, oh, can you give me tzedakah? Give you tzedakah? I need tzedakah. Can you give me tzedakah? Can you give my company tzedakah? Can you donate some CDs? Donate $50? No. Everybody thinks we're millionaires. Or, it's something else we get. Sometimes I get guys tell me, oh, I used to give so much tzedakah. When I had this money, I gave this and I gave that. And they tell me like a whole resume of all the things they gave in their life. It's like they remember it. It's like they put a memory stick in their head and they remembered everything of all the money they ever gave in their life. And I gave this guy $3,000 and I gave that guy $8,000 and I did this. And every time there would be the chagim, I gave this amount of money, and I bought this aliyah, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this. And the whole time they're telling me. So you're thinking, okay, great, Baruch HaShem, this guy's tzaddik. This guy has a big heart. Yeah, I don't make that much money anymore, so, I wish Hashem would just give me the money back. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe he's not giving you the money back because you didn't give it for the right reason. The only reason you gave the 8,000, the 3,000, the 5,000, the 10,000, the 50,000, the 100,000 was so you could tell people you gave the 8,000, the 5,000, the 3,000, the 10,000, the 50,000, the 100,000. That's not mitzvah. That's gava. It's gava. It's pride. Hashem hates gava. Person with gava, Hashem hates him. It's one of the people Hashem hates. As a matter of fact, Rabbi Nachman from Breslev says someone that has gava, someone that has pride, is very likely to become homosexual. He says because it stems, it comes from the same root. Interestingly enough, this is in a Sefer Amidot. In Sefer Amidot of Rabbi Nachman from Breslev, he says that a person that is prideful is more likely to become homosexual. And he also says in Likutei Maharan, I wrote it here, Toráh Yud Aleph Ot Gimel, it says, Ga'ava v'ni'uf tluim ze bazeh. A person who's prideful is typically an adulterer, a sex criminal, and so on. Ni'uf is not just adultery. Ni'uf also means wasting seed. Ni'uf also means, all types of sex crimes. So he says he's someone that's prideful is more likely to be a criminal, a sex criminal. Toráh sex criminal. Doesn't necessarily need to be a rapist or anything. But the point is that he's got a very, very serious problem. Now, what was the chidush? The chidush here, aside from what you heard, I guess, for the first time, because maybe this is not part of what Breslev teaches. Okay, so you read this then. The interesting thing is that the fact that Rabbi Nachman of Breslev says that someone that's prideful is more likely to be homosexual is interesting because the homosexuals are proud. Gay pride. So, Hashem doesn't like pride. So when you give tzedakah because you want pride, Hashem doesn't like that tzedakah. He doesn't like it.